So in last class we have seen for loop, while loop, list comprehension. Okay, so today we will start with new topic that is called function. Okay, so function is a basically a a block of code which can be reused. Okay, so in function there will be some input and it will provide some output. Okay, and the syntax is we start with def and then function name, then here input and colon, and then here code to execute. So this is the syntax for basically a function. So it is basically a block of code which can be reused. For example, let's say if I have to add two number. Okay, so let's say if I create one new function name add num, simply and add underscore num, and inside that simply if I write 2 comma 4. Okay, and here if I write let's say c equal to sorry c equal to a plus b, and let's say return. Return is basically what we want to output. Okay, so we want to return c. Okay, so if I have to call this function, is if I have to use this, so I can create y equal to add underscore number, then let's say 3 comma 4. Okay, so y will be 7. Okay, if I run this function, so here we have you created one function name add underscore num, and so this is a one time job. Once we created the function, we can use this function by this syntax. Okay, this syntax, and we can pass any, let's say if we want to add some other number, again we can call this function to add this number. Okay, so this function can be means, or this code can be used multiple times in your program. Okay, so so that is the advantage of uh, you that is the advantage of having a function. So you don't have to write the same piece of code again and again. Okay, so this is, since here it is a addition, it can be a very weak function. Okay, so it is like just you have created a one special functionality, and if you need in any project or any program, you can use that functionality to your code. Okay, yeah. So let's see through some examples. Okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, it is start with def. Okay, then the function name, and then there will be a bracket. Okay, and inside that it can means A function can take can have some input or it cannot have. Means both option are there, and similarly it can return or it cannot return. Means both options are possible. So for example, here in the first example, if you see, uh, so here there is no input. Okay, so input we also called it as a argument. Okay, in function, the input that we provide to any functions, we can we call it as a argument. So you can assume it as a input as well. Okay, both are same. And if you want to, let's say in any function, if you want to call that function and want to provide some output. Okay, so for that you can use a return function here. uh, Here there is a no return function. So we simply printing. So this function is without any input argument and without any return statement. Okay. So that is also possible. So if I run this, okay. So to call this function is to use this function. Okay. First, let's say this is the function that we have created. Okay. So the function name is greet, and what we are printing, hello world. Okay, so this before that the first line, a simple function that prints a greeting, so this we called it as a doc string. Okay, so this is just to, let's say you have created some function, and if you share that function to any uh, project mate, so he should know what this function is doing. Okay, so simply we write some description. So this description we put inside a three inverted column. Okay, three inverted string. So this we called it as a doc string. So doc string is nothing but information about that function. Okay, so okay, for example here, let's say add underscore number, and here we write we created one function name. So it is started with def, then function name, and then the input argument. Okay, so to create a doc string, okay, and okay, so we start with doc string, doc string. Okay, so anything inside this three inverted column. Okay, so we write some description about this function. So we can write this function add two numbers. Okay, so this is the description about this function. So this we called it as a doc string. Okay, so again I'm repeating. So this is just a description of the function, so that if uh, any new person see your function, okay, then by reading the description he should know what this function is doing. Okay, yeah, yeah. So this is the doc string. Then we have write one simple thing like print hello world. Okay, now this function get created. Okay, if I have to call this function, means call means if I have to use this function, greet. So simply I can write greet, and see, in this function we are not providing any input. Okay, means when we create this function we haven't asked for any input, this is empty, right? So here also you don't have to provide any input. Simply if you run, means this is how you can use this function. Okay, so it simply, when you call this function, it execute the code inside this function. So the code was print hello world. Okay, so this printed print hello world, means hello world. Okay, let's take other example. Let's create one more function, add numbers. Okay, and here we have created two things, a b and then colon, and that doc string is optional whether you want, or right now I'm not adding any doc string. Okay, so let's say I write code c equal to a plus b. Okay, let's, so we have created this function. Now let's say if I run this function. Okay, add numbers, and let's say try with simple things. Let's say here, while creating the function, I've given two arguments, right? A and B. But when I'm using this function, I'm not giving any. So let's see what happened. So it throwing error that add number missing two required positional argument. Okay, A and B. So means if you run this function, it throw this error. Why? Because when we create the function, we define, okay, these two input are required, but when we use this function, we are not passing anything, means we are not giving any input. So because of that, this error it raise. Okay, so let's say if I run to 5. Okay, now let's say again if I run, this time it runs. Okay, so if you have to run function, you should pass the number of argument that is required to run that function, otherwise it will throw error. Okay, now let's say y equal to, I simply storing the output that add number is providing in y, and see y equal to what. So y right now, y nothing is returning. Okay, we haven't, means in this function add number, we are not providing any output. Okay, so to add output, what we can do, return, return c. So what is it is doing, so it first taking these two number a b and adding and store it in c, and then what we are returning c. So return is what output we want to give. Okay, so let's say if we have created a function, so these two are input a b and the output will be c. Okay, so now let's again run this function. Yeah, now if I run this thing, so now y is returning 7. Okay, so if you have to add output, you should use the return thing. Okay, any doubt till this point? Okay, nice. Now there is one thing like default parameter. Default parameter. Okay, now let's say def mul 10 a comma b equal to 10. So first run this. Let's run this thing. Y equal to, and I'm providing only 5. Okay, and let's, yeah. So the default parameter means when, let's say if you define this function multiplication 10. Okay, so there are two input argument or two input that we are giving to this function. One a and this b equal to 10. So b equal to 10, when we define in this way, like b equal to 10. Okay, so this means it's optional. Okay, whether means if user does not give any input, uh, any second input, it will directly take v equal to 10. Okay, so here we haven't provided the value of v, so it directly take the value of v equal to 10. Okay, so this is optional parameter. So let's say if I have to, maybe let's say v equal to 56. Okay, then see what happens. Okay, so now we have given value b equal to 56. If you do not provide it, so the by default value, it will take 10. Okay, so that is the meaning of default parameter. Is it is optional whether we want user to input this variable b, or means user has the option. If it does not input that value, it will by default take it as a 10. Okay. Mm, see, so here 15, and by default value, since we haven't provided the value of v, so it by default it is taking it as a 10. So 15 into 10, so 150. Okay, so yeah, so that is the default value. Now let's, if you have to pass multiple uh, let's define some numbers. Okay, and you can name, after start you can name anything. For example, you can write a as well. Okay, and simply uh, So just I have written in this some number is a one function. I have just put it star. So this star has a special meaning. Okay. So this star basically define you can take any number of input. You can take any number of input. So what it means? So okay, first see through some programs. So y equal to, let's say, some numbers 1, 3, 5, 7. Let's see what. Yeah. So right now in this function, you are not defining the number of input. Okay. Earlier we have defined, okay, there are two input. Okay. Here also. But here we are not defining the number of input. So if your number of input is can vary. Okay. It can be right now here if you see the length is 4, 1, 3, 5, 7. 4 item is there. Let's say if you want to have a in some program it may be 100 value. Okay. So in that function you cannot write okay a b c d up to means 100 variable. Okay. So for that to solve that problem we can use star. Okay. Star, and then any name you can give. You can give args, that is a standard practice. Args. Okay. Means args means arguments. Okay. So, but you can give any name. This name uh, doesn't have much importance. Only that this when you write args, it means arguments. Okay. So here, if you call this function, to call this function simply some number 1357. So let's say if I run this, so it come around 7 plus 5, 12, 12 plus 3, 15 plus 1, 16. So it is providing 16. Let's say if I write some other number, add 29, 45, 67. Okay. So this will add that as well. Okay. So you can increase any number of input to this function. Okay. So that is the advantage of using star before that arguments. Okay. So this is this we called it as a variable. Okay. Yeah. Similarly, there is one more thing. I can take one example, that is variable length uh, keyword argument. Okay, keyword variable length arguments coax. Let's take this example. So here there is a one function name build profile. So there is a first name, last name, and then in the last argument or last input, we have put 2 star. Okay. So these 2 star basically means it is a keyword. Keyword means the name of this expression is keyword argument. Okay. Keyword argument. Keyword arguments. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's first run this thing. Okay. So this function get created. Now, uh, so what we have done, if we have called this function, okay. So in place of first name, we have put John. In last name, we have used Doe, okay. And then the third argument, that user info, okay. So we have put double star, okay. So here there is a key and then value, key value, okay. So in age we have put 30, in value we have put sorry, so age is a one key, and similarly city is other key. So here we have added two keys, okay. So in third argument there is a double star, okay. So if you print this, means if you run this user one, okay, so this basically returning return profile, okay. So profile, this it returns, okay. Now there is a second profile, okay, same function we are using again, but here in this only two set of key value, okay, in user one, age and city. Here if you see, there are three set of key value, okay, age, city and occupation. So so this double star basically giving the option to add any number of key value, okay. This single star giving the option you can add any number of item. These are not key value, right? But if you have to use any number of key value, so for that you have to use double star, okay. So that is basically a keyword argument. So you can add any number of, means any number of basically variable in this format, okay. Yeah. So that is the advantage of using double star, okay. Any doubt till this point? Okay. Now there are some special functions. So first is a lambda function. Lambda function. Okay. So the syntax is there is a one keyword like def we have used for function. Here for lambda function there is a keyword called lambda. Okay. Then arguments followed by expression. Okay. For example, so this is how you can create a lambda function. So this is basically a syntax, okay. So if I give some example, so let's say if you have created some function def add underscore num, which we have created it earlier, okay, and we are return a plus b, okay. So if I have to use the same thing, means if you have to create the same thing using lambda function, so simply I can write lambda, okay, and the argument, what are the argument here in this? Anyone? Okay.
The
So
return
no, argument. Argument means input variable.
A and B.
A and
A
B.
and B. correct? So we have to, if there are multiple argument, we can write by using, we can write using comma. So a comma b, then uh, colon, and what will the expression? Anyone?
A plus B.
Expression, correct. So this is basically means the same function we can create using a lambda. So this is called synonym, means uh, synonym, anonymous function, you know, because it doesn't have any name. So because of that, we call it as a ano- anonymous function, okay, or unknown function, okay.
Sir, so every lambda function is anonymous.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So for example here, so this is a basically a one line function. We can call it as a one line function. So expression we have already seen. So let's say the same thing that we have seen here, that add. Okay. So let's def add underscore number. Okay. And there are two variables, a comma b, and return plus b. Okay. And if I have to use this, what we can write, add underscore number, and then let's say 5 comma 10. Okay. So this is the normal way of means using def. We have created function. Okay. The same thing if I have to create using, let's say, using lambda function. Okay. So z lambda, uh, then expression will be a comma b. Sorry, argument will be a comma b, and expression will be a plus b. And we can write add underscore num. Let's give this thing. Okay, now I can write num 4 comma 5. Sorry. See. Okay. So what I have write? Simple one line of code where lambda, then the input, what are the input that is required, and then what is the mathematical expression that is required means to run this thing. Okay. So let's say again, if I have to square two number and square two number and then add that as well. Okay. So for example, if I write 4 comma 3, 4 comma 3, so the output should be, I want the output should be 25. Okay. So it will be basically 4 chi square 16 plus 3 chi square 9. So I want this sort of output. So let's say if I create some squares, what should be my lambda function? Anyone? Let's say if I again use to input AB, what should be the expression?
Sir, A double star 2 plus B double star 2.
Plus B double star 2. Correct. And then if I write some squares, Okay, 3 comma 4 C25. Okay, so this is how you can create, uh, you can use lambda function. So this is basically when your expression or your uh, means when the expression is like mostly, let's say, one liner or two liner, there you can use lambda function. So means you don't have to write in this format. You can, but yeah. So lambda function, uh, it is mainly a one liner. So using single line of code, you can create a function. Okay, so that is why it is called as a special function. So in similar way, like how we call function normal function, in similar way we call this as well. Okay, so because of that it is called as a special function. Yeah. So these are few examples. So for example, here we have created lambda, and if you see in this, we are not providing any input argument. Okay, lambda, there is a no input argument, and we simply printing this hello world. Okay, so this is also possible. Then here we are just multiplying it by 2. Okay, then third is basically adding two number. Then here we are giving some default value. Okay, so y equal to 2. So an input, so there are two argument, right? X, y will having some default value 2. So the same thing that we have seen for function default parameter. So if you see the first example, that power of 5, so here the default value of y is 2 is taken. In second, we are giving 3. So here it override 2 to 3. Okay. So let's run this. It will be 10, and this will be 25, 125. Then this is, we have created some function, lambda function. There are two argument a, b, and we want to find maximum of a and b. Okay. So the expression is a if a greater than b, else b. So this is conditional things that we have put it here. So it written 20. Okay. Now, now there is one more function that we apply with lambda. Okay. So there is, that is called map function. Okay. So the expression, uh, the syntax is map, then function, comma, iterable. Okay. So this map can be applied to normal function as well as lambda function. Okay. So map is basically, for example, right now, so for example, if you have a list, okay, let's say 1, 4, 5, 9, 7. Okay. And if you have to square each number, okay, let's say if I have to square one number using lambda. So what I can write, lambda, the expression will be, the number of argument will be, let's say a, okay, and the expression is, I write a into a. So what it does, it will square the number. Okay, so if I write y of 2, so the here the output will be 4, correct? So this is using only lambda function. But let's see, if I have to square each number of this list, Okay, so map function or map basically help to apply this y on all list items. Okay, so again the syntax of this is map, then function, then iterable. Okay, so here the function we have created is a y. What we name it? Lambda a, then colon a into a, and we call it as a y. Okay, so the function name is y, and iterable object or iterable list is uh, let's say if I named it as a some variable uh, m, let's say. Okay, so here iterable is m. So if I have to to all apply this functionality to all items, so simply I can write map y comma the list m. So it will apply this square function to all the items, okay, using single code. Okay, this map. Yeah, let's again we write. So let's say I want in each value from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I want to multiply each value with 10 and also add 5. Okay, so for example the output should be let's say if I take 1, so 1 should be multiplied with 10, so and then add 5, so 1 into 10 10, then adding 5, so it will be 15. So and similarly for 2, 2 into 10 20, 25, 35, 45, 55. So I want my output in this way. Okay, so now for to getting this output I have to use lambda function and map. Okay, so first let's see create a lambda function, and mm, if I write add multiplication, okay, then I write lambda. Okay, lambda, then the argument will be, let's say, single argument x. Okay, and what expression should I write? X into 10 plus 5. Okay, this is what I want. So this function I have created. Now I want to apply map. Map. So the syntax is function comma iterable. So the function is add underscore mul, and then on in which item I want to apply, means in which list, this nums. Nums. Okay. Yeah. Now if I want to see the output, okay. So right now this output is not, means we are not able to see any output. Okay. This is some object. Okay. So to get the, means if you want to see the output, you have to use list. Okay. List. So now if I print, want to see the output, see, this is the output we are getting. Yes. So map function is basically used when you want to apply some function to every element of a list or any iterable object. So it can be list, it can be tuple, it can be dictionary. Okay, it can be set. when there are more than one element, so we can apply this map to that. Okay, so map is basically just to apply some function to all the item on that iterable object. So that iterable can be list, tuple, or anything. Okay.
Sir, one doubt.
Haha.
Suppose we write any expression in lambda function or any function in general, then if suppose we are writing multiple arithmetic signs, suppose multiplication, division, and all, then will
Hmm.
it follow Bodmas by default, or we have to take care of that?
It should follow word mass.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So these are some examples. Yeah. So this we have applied to this lambda function, right? This map, but this can be also applied to this normal function as well. So for example, so let's say this is the function that I have created. Okay. Now the same list, uh, nums. Okay. In nums, if I want to apply the same thing to this function, okay, is that map. Okay, earlier we have applied to using this add mul function that was created using lambda function. Okay, but here we have created this square using normal function. Okay, so in that also you can apply map. Okay, so this can be applied to both uh, mm, normal function as well as the function that you have created using lambda. Okay. Yes. So similarly, map, there is a one more thing that we called it as a filter. Okay, we call it as a filter. Here, the argument, the expression is function comma iterable. Okay, function comma iterable. Okay, and this function will return true or false. True or false. And iterable is a basically the same thing. List, tuples, dictionary, anything. Okay. Now, let's say, again, let's say if you have a list that is 1, 4, 9, 24, 32. Okay. And if you have to basically uh, find the even number from this list. Okay. The objective is to find all the even number. Okay, so for that, let's say if I have to create some function using lambda, even underscore num I created equal to lambda is then expression will be single then column, and what should be the expression?
X% to double equal to 0.
Equal to 0. Okay, so this is the expression. Now if I have to use this filter, so in filter the expression the syntax is it should be function then iterable. Okay, so filter then function is even underscore num, and iterable on which list we want to apply x. Okay, and this will be my output. Here also if you have to see the output, you need to apply list. So list filter then even underscore num comma X. So let's create even underscore num. Okay, then lambda function we have seen, then x or x percent 2 equal to 0. Then output will be filter, then function name is even underscore num, comma, on which list I want to apply nums. And to see the output, we can apply list before that. Let's see the output. Okay, so this giving output 2, 4 because it was taking this num. Okay. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we have defined. Let's run this thing. So now num value is nums. Let's 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now if I again rerun this thing, the output is 10, 20, 30. So there are 3 even number. Okay. So this is means if you have to just choose a even number. So this is using filter method. You can basically get this value. Okay. Yeah. So
Sir,
similarly, you
basically
can.
this
Mhm.
hello sir. Basically, this filter function is filtering a data set by treating a function as a condition.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
So now there are some more like thing like reduce and one is sorted. So these are not means we do not use much in our program, but let's see it. So so reduce this is the syntax reduce function comma iterable initializer optional. Okay, so for using reduce, first you need to import. Okay, so there is a function tool from function tools import reduce. Okay, and reduce expression is again the function comma iterable and you can initialize. So this is mainly used when you want to, let's say if you have to uh, right now what we have seen. So map function basically apply all the function apply the function to all the element. Okay, so let's say if your list length is 10. So okay, so in output also you will get the list which length is 10 only. In filter we basically apply some condition using function. So let's say in even case, so initially there was let's say six element inside a list and let's say three of them are even. So in output how many you get? Three. In reducer, so from name also you can means it basically reduce the list. Okay, so reduce means it reduce the list to single value. Okay, so for example let's say if you have a list 1 3 4 10 and if you want to multiply each element. Okay, so it means 1 3 4 10. So the output will be single value. So from this list, you are getting the single value. So for that, we can use reduce. Okay. It will be more clearer when we see some example. Okay. Now, here first, what we have created one Lambda function called product. Okay. And this is the list 1, 2, 3, 4. In reduce Lambda, the input argument is x comma y. Then expression is x into y. Let's make it little bit simpler. So let's say the product, I want to product the element in, means all the element inside a list I want to product. Means I want to do the multiplication of that. So lambda, then I write some input argument x, y. Okay. And then x into y. So this is the function I created. Now I want to product each element of this list using this function product. So the expression is syntax is function comma iterable. Okay. So reduce, then first let's run this thing. Reduce, then function name is product comma in which list I want to apply nums. Okay. And to see the output, again I need to apply list. And if I see the output, int object is not trivial. Just this. I don't know what is the issue, but here it is running. When we apply to normal function, it is giving the output list of this. Okay, I will get back to you about this. I don't know why it is not running for Lambda case. Int object is not callable. This time it run, I don't know. Maybe some variable problem, maybe. Okay, so this is running. Uh, Sometimes you get problem which you don't know why it was not running. Okay, but now we change the variable name. Now it runs. Okay, so sometime it happens. Okay, so using lambda function also. So this is basic reduce is basically used when you want to squeeze the list. Okay, by applying some function which basically squeeze the list to single value. So for example, if we have use multiplication, want to multiply all the item. So for that, this can be useful. Okay, reduced function. So similarly, there is one more called sorted. Okay, so in Python, there is a keyword called sorted. So for example, let's say if you have to sort a list. Okay, so this is a list, right? 52917. So if you just use sorted inside that, the list name, it will sort it into a increasing order. Okay, and if you want to, for example, if you want to reverse it, okay, so simply here, if you see uh, in description, this sorted function description reverse, by default it is a false. If you make it true, it will reverse it in a descending order. So simply reverse equal to true. See, it will reverse it in a descending order. So if you have to see any keyword functionality, okay, simply let's say this is a sorted is a one keyword. So just put your cursor middle of the that keyword. Okay, then you can see what are the input that it can take. Okay, so if you see the sorted iterable key, key, and then reverse. Okay. So, and these two are means if none equal to none, so and bool equal to false. So this is why default parameter. Okay. If you do not input that, it will run that thing as well. Means, okay. So here, if you see here, we have put it just nums. Okay. There are three argument, but two are optionals. So in that case also it runs. Okay. Now, so for sorted, there are three keywords: iterable, key equal to function, reverse equal to false or true. Okay. So iterable will be list, tuple, dictionary, anything. Then key equal to function. Function can be lambda function or normal function. And reverse equal to false. Okay. So let's see with some example. If I take this example, okay. For example, word. Words equal to apple, banana, kiwi, cherry. And let's say if I want to sort these words using the number of characters. Okay. Number of characters. So here I have used one lambda function. Okay. Uh, if I have to sort it by character, so let's say len care. I have created one. Let's say if I sorry. First, I can create one lambda function where the argument can be 1 and the expression can be length of x. Okay. Why length? So for example, if I have to see the length of apple, okay, how many characters are present inside it? This is a 5. So because of that only I have taken length. Okay. So this lambda function will basically, if you give any input, it will find the length of that input. So x is the input and the expression is this one. Okay. So this lambda function get created. Now, based on the syntax. Okay. Let's again copy this syntax here and okay. So this function we have created len character. Now, if I have to apply sorted, so iterable will be words. Now, key will be function. So what is the function name? Len also character. Okay. Simply if I run it, see. Now it sorted this word list using length. Okay. And that too is in initially 4 character 5 increasing order. Let's say if I have to make in descending order. So reverse equal to simply I write I need to add reverse equal to true. Now it is in descending order. Okay, so this sorted function or sorted keyword can be useful when you want to apply some sort of sorting function to any list, tuple, or dictionary. And that sorting rule you can define using lambda function or any normal function. Okay, so you have created one function and this function only apply to one input. Okay, but with the help of sorted you can apply it to any list, tuple, or dictionary. Okay, yeah. So similar thing you can apply through normal function as well. Okay, now this is one more example. I want you to basically so let's say I have given this pair. Okay. Uh, so objective is to sort using the second element of these tuples. Okay. So second element means, so the first element of first tuple is 1 comma 3. So first element is 1, second element is third. Similarly, the second tuple second element is 1, 2. So I want the I want my output should be sorted uh, using 2 comma 1, then 5 comma 2, then 3 comma 1. Okay, sorry, 1 comma 3. Yeah, so this is what I want. So for that, let's say if I have to create a lambda function, I write the name of that function. Mm, I write some random name. Okay, so lambda. So let's say if this is the input, okay, if this is the input that I'm giving to lambda, what should be my expression? Anyone? Which value it should take? Means if this is the input and I have to choose which element, the second element, what should I write? For example, 1 comma 4. Okay, b equal to 1 comma 4. Okay, so if I have to access 4, what should I write? B of
B of 1, then another bracket 2.
y.
First B in the first bracket 1, and then another bracket, sorry, 1.
Okay. So here after x I should write simply 1. Okay, so this is my function. Okay, now if I have to sort using the second element, sorted, which list I want to apply? Pairs. Okay, and based on the syntax. Okay, here we have seen the syntax: key equal to function, then reverse equal to false or true. Okay, so key equal to what function should I apply? Same alt. And if I, okay, pair should, I should write here. Now this and now this. Yeah, see, now it's sorted using second element 2 1 5 2 1 3. Okay, so this function, lambda function, help me to choose this second element of each tuples, and then sorted function is applied on that. Okay, and this is in descending order. Yeah, sorry, ascending order. You can want, you can make reverse equal to true to make it in descending order. So 3 2 1. Okay, yeah, so these are some of the useful functionality that you can add with lambda function. Okay, like uh, reduce, map, filter, sorted. Okay, yeah, any doubt till this point? Anyone? So the function part also get completed. The next pending thing is class. So in next class, we will see class. So that is basically object or oops concept. All these are come under class. Okay. So once we finish the class, then Python, uh, most of the things in Python will get completed. Okay. So class will take or object will take maybe two class at least. Okay. We will try to finish it in two class. Yeah. Any doubt? So I have pushed the code to GitHub for all the practice that we are doing in the class. Okay. So if you see all these basic variable operator, string list, data structure sets, all these notebooks are available in GitHub. Uh, I think uh, you all you all people have GitHub link, right? Or don't?
Uh, Sir, actually, I had problem in that GitHub thing. I mean, earlier I did it, but my OS got crashed in between, so I have to do it again.
So you can download that, no, means. So this is the GitHub repo link. Uh, I
I have
can.
downloaded, sir. I just need assist. I mean, I will go through it once, but I may come across doubt in while using that SSH key and linking accounts.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Means just to access this material, you don't have to link that as well. You simply open the means this link. Okay. Simply open the link and go to download zip. Means here if you see the green code, means this green code, just simply click this and there is an option called download zip. So it will zip it, means it will download the zip folder, and simply you need to extract. Inside that all materials will be available. Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
try to practice uh, at least the notebook that I have given. So in that um, that you can treat as it as a basically notes as well. Okay, just to revise the concept. So yeah, try to make as much as practice. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Anyone finding difficulty in accessing the YouTube video? Last two YouTube videos I haven't uploaded. Today I will upload today video as well. So three video I will upload. Uh, so anyone if facing any difficulty in accessing the YouTube video, so they need to means log in the your YouTube channel through or your YouTube through your the mail ID that you have provided it to me. Okay, so from that only you will able to access. So right now I haven't make it open, means so that you people have only the access of those classes. Okay, so yeah, if anyone facing, please let me know any difficulty on accessing those YouTube videos. Any doubt if you are facing related to installation or anything?
Sir, I am facing. I mean, I may face doubt regarding linking my GitHub account and pushing that code and all.
So you can
That
connect with means the people who have already done. You can connect with Chirantan. He has done already.
yes.
Okay, and many
Okay,
other.
sir.
You can directly try to connect with group people. Okay, means try to chat. Means everyone. This is just not just for Adit. This is for everyone. Try to interact or discuss your problem in group, and the people who are seeing, let's say if it is it's putting some having some doubt and he is some his problem, then try to solve that problem. Means this is for other people. Okay, and if still you are not able to face the problem, means not able to solve the problem, I will definitely help. But my request is to try to solve the problem. This will be good practice for you. Okay, because many times different people has tried different things, and different people face different sort of problems. Okay, so if you solve that problem, you will get the some experience and you will get some confidence as well. Okay, you're able to resolve the issue. Okay, so try to make the group more interactive. Okay, and also in one or two class I will provide the list of questions or interview question related to the things that we have seen. So most of the or 95% of questions in interview will ask, means the topic that we have already seen. So from that only they will ask. So class, the object oriented concept will only just to know whether, means let's say if you see some code, you should know how it execute and you able to uh, basically know what is happening inside that code. Okay, but 95% of the question, interview question, coding or concept wise as well, they will ask from functions, for loop, while, loop variables, list, tuples, dictionary. Okay, so they will ask from that only. They will not ask very complicated uh, object oriented programming. Okay, so and in basically Gen AI or all, they are not expecting that you are very hard code coder. Okay, in Python. So try to practice in this. So I will provide means even in the document or the code notebook that I have uploaded, in that also some practice questions are there. But apart from that, I will provide some more um, set of question topic wise, which will be helpful, very helpful for you when you are facing interview related to Python. Okay, so try to solve those exercise or interview question first. Do not try to take help from internet, because when you give interview at that time, you don't have any such facility, right? So uh, try to uh, solve it your own. Okay, and if you face any difficulty, try to see the concept again. Okay, let's say facing some difficult solving problem related to loops, again try to see what is the loops, where means let's say break and continue you are facing uh, break and continue concept. So there also you can uh, look back to those videos or some material related to that to uh, to clear your doubt. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's it for today's class. So any doubt, anything, anyone having any suggestion or anything? Okay, cool. Okay, then we will stop this class now.
Thank you, sir.